If they don't come in time, we'll be traveling with no water. That can't happen. It makes no sense. Shower. Oh my God. Oh my God. Might be saving so much money here.
Give me it.
Welcome back to the van build. If you're new here, we're Nat and Cat. If you've been following the series, you'll know we're building a one-of-a-kind camper van that can carry us and our motorbike all the way across Europe. The problem is, we're running out of time. With less than a month to go until we set off, we've got a huge amount left to do. Every episode now is a race against the clock to get the van finished. So let's get into today's episode and see if we can get one step closer to hitting the road. Hello, welcome back. Today, we've got 3 weekends left before we go. So it's important that today we have to get the plumbing set out because I need to order the John Guest fittings and they are ridiculously expensive. So I was just going to order a bulk amount of what I need, but I put a rough amount of what I needed into the basket and it was 150 quid. So I'm going to do that exactly. So I'm going to lay out all the pipes today, work out and write down exactly what ends I need, what fittings I need, and order them tonight. So then next weekend or sometime next week, they'll arrive and I'll start fitting them all together and connecting the system up so I can leak test it before we go. I don't want to be leaving that till last minute because we'll end up with leaks on the road and that's no good. So before we do that, I've just got to tidy up the van and then we can start getting it laid out. Just show you what I did in the week because I've already put the fill port on the side. So the fill port is on. That is all locked up. Little spider there. Magnetic flap, just like the electric one. So that comes through here. I need to figure out what I'm going to do with this little breather pipe. But that goes in, on through there, down, and at the minute it goes onto this port in here. So through the floor, above the leaf spring, down into there. This is going to be a drain and I want it to be a fill from like a hose lock connector, but I've got to figure out how to get that to come across to here. I can't just put a straight pipe on here because as soon as you jack it up, this spring comes down lower than that and it will just snap off. So I'm going to have to come up along here and then back down. So I might have to see what I'm going to do with that, whether it's a flexible hose section or loads of connectors. Again, as I said, the connectors are quite expensive, so I don't want to be spending 40 quid just to have a fill point there. So if it's too much hassle, I'll just put a tap straight off there for a drain. I suppose I could just put a connector on there and just lean under and connect it directly onto there, possibly. I don't know, I need some kind of tap on it, so I'll have to figure that out, but that can wait for now. The pipes are the main thing inside. Okay, so these are the pipes that we've got. I hope we've got enough. 12mm plastic, I don't know, I think they're John Guest. Yeah, 12mm plastic John Guest pipe, red for hot, blue for cold, and that has to go from the water heater to the tank, to the pump, to the sink, to the shower. So I've got to figure out how I'm going to do that. What I think I'm going to do is, obviously that's where it's going to come in, same place as the fill port goes down. So it's going to come up there, it's got to go in front of the bike wheel and then across to the heater. My water pump and stuff is probably going to be around here, so it's close to the electrics, and then it's got to go from here behind the cabinet to the sink, and it's got to come, the hot water's got to come across and up to the shower. The cold water can just tee in from there and go up to the shower there. Well, it's got to come from the pump, so wherever the pump goes, that's where it can tee off to the shower. So they're the kind of things that I've got to figure out, and then yeah, that's it really. It's just a case of figuring out the layout, what's got to go in what order, and go from there. I've never done anything like this before, so this is all brand new. So let me get cutting, get figuring out, and yeah, we'll see where all the other components will go. I'll just go and grab the other components now and show you what I've got. We've got the Seaflow 30 psi pump. Actually open that yet. Let's open this up and see what's in here. So filter, which is good, and some ends to connect it to, which is also good. And then we've got the pump itself. Okay, pretty heavy. So that's that. We've got an I got this pipe with the heater, water heater, which I have no idea what it is. I don't know, some kind of breather. I'm not sure. Need to find that out. I've got an accumulator, and I can't remember what this is called. So I'll add that on somewhere here. Some more connection ends there. And what's this here? Some kind of layout. Anyway, this is to smoothen out the water flow, I believe. It's basically full of air, so it will stop sort of the water from pulsing, because this acts as like a cushion. I can't remember what this is, but this comes with the water heater system, but they're slightly different in what they do, I believe. Or they go in slightly different areas. Anyway, I'll show you a layout of roughly what order they're going to go in, because there's one on the Bobil website for that. So yeah, now we've got all the components. Again, it's just let's get the pipes ran, figure out where they need to go, figure out where the components need to go, and yeah, let's get some work done. So I'm just looking at the layout on Bobil vans. So we've got the underslung tank there, so the water has to come out from there into the filter that's in the pump kit, and then into the pump. So based on that, I think what I'm actually going to do is mount my pump somewhere in this corner. So obviously this side here is going to have this same backboard and front section there under here, because what actually happens with this wooden bit there is the bed actually comes down and sits on that. So when it's at its lowest point, it's not actually on these rails or these cables, it will be sat on that wooden frame, basically being part of the floor. So that's going to be the same on that side. So I think I'm going to mount the pump there, and then obviously I've just got to route the wires along with the pipes, which is not a major issue at all. That way my cold can tee off somewhere here. One can go to the shower, one can go to the water heater, and obviously off to the sink, which is where my laptop is currently. So that's that. That's the first bit we're going to get done, I suppose. So from there it goes into this accumulator here. Expansion tank, that's it. Accumulator, expansion tank. So the accumulator is this one with the orange sticker on, and the expansion tank is the bigger, fatter one, which came with this heater. From the cold tank up through the floor to the filter, to the pump, to the accumulator, and there. So the accumulator I'm going to have near the pump as well. So the shower has a thermostatic mixer on it anyway, but the kitchen tap doesn't. So you can regulate the temperature that comes out of the shower, whereas the hot, if you put it onto its hottest setting and have just hot water, it could be as hot as the hottest temperature this can make. So for safety, we've got a thermostatic mixer as well, which means the hot water will only be ever set to whatever temperature we set this to. That can be mounted somewhere near this tap. It's also got an air intake valve there. That, I think, is a complete waste of time. I mean, tell me if I'm wrong, but so when you drain the tank, the idea of that is if you drain the water out, it's got to be replaced by air, otherwise it will do the same thing as putting your finger over the top of a straw with water in it. It doesn't come out. But that sounds pointless to me, because if you just open the taps of the kitchen tap and the shower, the same thing will happen. Am I wrong? Let me know. Okay, right, enough looking at this. Let's get on and get some actual work done. So I don't know what I need to cut the pipe yet. I've got these which I've had before for cutting like bits of like wooden trim and stuff, so I'm going to try those out first, see how they get on. I may just divert to a new Stanley blade. You can get proper cutters for it, but I'm not paying that money at this moment in time. And a tape measure. So looking at the pump, it has arrows on it for the direction. So it says arrow in there, so water comes in this side and out that side, and they are both the same size. I'm going to put this filter, the strainer rather, vacuum side only, which means in, because to get the water to come through it, you've got to suck it up. So it'll be a vacuum this side where it's pulling the water out of the tank, and then this side of things, it will be pressure where it's pushing it into the system, pressurizing the system up. So again, this has an arrow of flow on it as well. So this will go on here, and I'm just gonna, I'll probably PTFE that joint as well before I actually fit it. And then I've got these two ends here. That can go on there. I don't think I'm going to use these. I think what I'll do is get some John Guest ends where you screw it on and then you can just push it in, because I don't like these connectors. It means I need more clamps and stuff, and it's not going to fit into my pipe. So first two ends on the list. Right, before I sort of decide where this is going, I'm going to get a board along the back of there, because I think what I'm going to do is, I know my inlet's going to come in around here somewhere, probably in front of it. So it's going to come up and across. So I think this, I don't want to have here. I think I'm going to have it inside on some wood that's going to be mounted on here. So what I'm going to do is cut a piece of wood for the back of this and get that screwed on so I can mount my pump. I've got all the pipes in now. I've routed them all roughly where I think they're going to go. It should work. I've tried to do it in a way that I can have as little connections as possible. One, because when you connect two pipes at a right angle, whatever's moving through it has to change direction, which affects the flow. So if I could have a long swooping bend instead, it will be a lot smoother, a lot easier for the water to get around. That's my excuse for being tight. So I'll show you what I've done, I'll show you where I've put everything, and then I've just got to get a pen and paper and go around and write down, I need X connector here, 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 and get myself a list and then order those tonight. If I don't order those tonight, then they might not come in time. And if they don't come in time, we'll be traveling with no water. That can't happen. So it comes up through the floor into the filter, to the pump, to the accumulator, which I still need to screw down properly. And then it goes along there up to, I'm going to have like a Y piece there, and then it's going to go up to the shower, down through here into the water heater, and here I'm going to have another Y piece, and it's going to go off down there where I'm going to have a right angle piece which goes down to the back and up there, which I'll show you in a minute. The hot is going to come out of here down to a T piece there, which is going to go through there to another T piece, which is going to go come up to this whatever I called it earlier, expansion tank, and then it will carry on back to a right angle piece and again to the taps. This side of the T will come around and up to the shower. Here along this front section I'm going to build in a step to hide these wires, allow me to route the electrics and water through, but not be seen. And then obviously the shower I've got to put in there so it comes through to attach to those. Looking at the tap. Okay, so this is a tap that we've got. That's going to go on here, and that's going to come down. The hot is going to go into this mixer, which I can set the temperature at around 45 degrees. So that will go to there. The cold will just join onto the tap to this connection here. And I'll have a T-piece here going off into the mixer for that. And the hot will come along there and into the mixer this side. So yeah, that's it. Basically, I've got to go around now and write down what ends I need and then order them. I'll write these down in my brand new diary. Premium membership to the best club in the world. And that is it. So 1, 2, 2 90s. That can't be right. Just 2 90s. Might be saving so much money here. Underneath, I'll show you what that looks like. So there's the connection there. That's just a male threaded end. I think it's 1/2 inch BSP threaded end. And I've just put the pipe into it. I need an insert to that. It's not got an insert in it in a minute. This I'm just going to tie it up out of the way. Make sure there's enough so it's not just pulling on that connection at the end. But I'm going to attach that to the chassis somehow. So it's not rubbing, it's not moving. But it's secure. Same for this, I've not secured this inlet pipe down yet. I'll do all that afterwards. Right, so looking at my list then, I'm just going to double check it again, make sure I've got everything. But once I've done that, I will price it up and then I'll write down here how much it's going to cost and let you know. Right, bye now. So 115 quid altogether. £115 for some bits of plastic. Right, now that's done. All I can do is wait. They're going to turn up sometime this week, so that'll be finished off next week. I will get them cut and put in during the week so that we can go straight into pressure testing, fill in the water and all that kind of stuff next week. So what I want to do today then is get the shower in. So the shower we've got is this gold square one. Got it from Amazon. It's got this out on here, and then a square like rainforest shower type thing. So what we've got to do is obviously figure out where it's going to go on the wall as high as possible. Probably I'm going to rest that on the ceiling actually. Maybe just in front of it. So get it as high as possible, as central as possible, and then put the holes in there. Okay, so that's going to go up there. Brushing my hair. Yeah, as high as possible, that will touch the ceiling. So we have to mark where that is. Put it right over here. No. So we'll mark where that goes. So the tap's gone to the bottom. The tap's going to go into the bottom of it there, and then we've got to draw the 2 holes for the hot and cold water, and then we'll drill through there, screw the mounts on, and then we've got to put some copper pipe through first into this side, and then that's what the 15mm elbow is going to go onto when they arrive. Yeah, it's not I mean, it's going to be a shower, obviously, but it's not going to be one you're going to be constantly wanting to spend hours in, because it's not the biggest. But it's what you're limited to in a van, I suppose. Better than not having one. I don't understand what this is there for. It says do not dismantle during installation, but then I just don't get it. Do not get it. What's the point? And you can't adjust the height of this bit, so this just got to be there, and if so, then why is that thing on the side? It makes no sense. No sense. So can I move this height? No. Can I ever move it? What the friggin' hell is the point in this thing? Pushes on that, but for what reason, I have absolutely no idea. Do you know? No? Me either. Right. Let's get measuring, find the center point. We know this has got to go as high as possible. 6, 7. Grow up. Grow up. 33.5. All right. Just put a little dot there. With my pen. All right, that's roughly halfway. Give me halfway. No. No, I can't. So it's middle of there, but it's not the middle at the top because obviously it's not equal at the top. But I'd rather the taps be in the middle than anything else. So if I just mark that as that's the bottom of the shower. Oh my god. Oh my god. Oh my god. You know, sometimes you just think that dot is the one I've made with a tape measure, and that line is the bottom of that shower. That's just skill you can't buy. Sometimes I even amaze myself. Things you got to screw into the wall are these little brackets. They have a little compression copper ring in it, and then it's got this little threaded section on the top that has a like a concave, convex, one of those 2 things in there, which will screw on there and crush that olive onto the copper pipe. So what I'm going to do is screw these into here, because I need to know where to drill my hole that's going to be behind these. So they're obviously not going up there, but they're going to mount to that, and then I'm going to have to drill a hole in there for the pipe to come through and then into here. So I need to have some marks. Holes are drilled. I've tested its level. I've added in some support for the back. Now I'm just going to put some thicker plywood across here, drill the same holes in there, and then get some screws and screw these brackets on. So I've fitted the shower. I've also put a bit of trim around this little alcove shelf. So now I've just got to repaint this top corner, and then I've got some more plastic sort of corner trims to put on the sides, but on the floor. But I'm not going to do that until we've got the front on the shower, so I know that it comes right up to the edge of that. So it's a good job I put the light over there, or the shower wouldn't have fit. I hate putting stuff in because it's hard to do it without damaging this. I've done the best job I can, but it's not perfect. But I think it looks all right on the whole. Yeah, there's nothing else I can do till the rest of the plumbing stuff comes. So I'm going to move on to the worktop now. Right, so I've got to cut the back off. I'll show you in a minute. I've got to cut the back off the cabinet because the sink's going to hit it. So I need to trim a sink-shaped hole out the back, so I can put the sink in and then draw around it. So it's not picking it up very well on camera, but I've drawn around the hob, and I have then measured from both edges and both ends and both edges to see how far in I need to come. So that's going to be the cut out for the hob. The sink, I have just pen marked around where the frame is, and then I'm going to take the top off and I will measure out the center point, or as close to the front as possible, and then work out how much gap I need to take off from this square, and then cut out the sink. There we go. Perfect. What I need to do then is line it up from underneath, silicone it, and get some wood like this, and I'll screw that down here as well, which will support it front and back. But before I do that, sand all the edges that I've just cut. Both holes are cut. I've sanded it as well. I've just wiped it down with a cloth to get any dust off it. Now I'm going to oil it with this stuff, which is Osmo Top Oil High Solid. It's supposed to be food safe and the best for sealing it for waterproof and stuff like that, according to ChatGPT anyway. What's the best option? Brush? Cloth? Let's have a look. another weekend down. We've only got 2 left now. So tomorrow the van's getting MOT'd. So we finished for the day. And we're just getting the van ready to drive to the MOT station so that nothing is falling about. All clear now. Bike's in so I can ride back. Pipes are waiting for the clips. The worktop is waiting for another couple of coats of the varnish, and then we can look at getting the sink in there and the hob. Last few bits to do. We need some cupboards. We need the backsplashing. We've got to get the seat all put together with like a lift up top for the time being. Put toilet in there. We can lift that out, put it in the shower when we need to, if we need to. Yeah. Doors carpeted. Around the doors carpeted. We probably get a ceiling on as well in the bedroom at least before when the cupboards are on, so we know where it goes up to. And hopefully get this one on as well, so we can get the surround on for the skylight and the lights for that as well. But yeah, starting to take shape. We won't be fully ready, I don't think, when it comes, but as long as the van's functional and we can get everything we need to in it, that's the main thing. So keep following for the next few videos and see if we are anywhere near ready or if we just can't go.